Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is gonna be another installment into my Triple Crown collection, which I'm getting close to completing. And I have two cards. I'm gonna treat this one like the appetizer and the entree, one of which I got called out by Rick at Vintage Oddball Cards to share because he's so excited to see this thing up close and personal in the camera. So let's start with the appetizer, and that is, I'm gonna begin with Pedro Martinez, who won the Triple Crown for pitching in 1999. I picked this up 2 years at the National, 2 years ago. And I decided to go for an autograph because I really like his autograph. His rookie card is maybe worth a few bucks, so it's not a big deal to try to snag one of those. But this autograph did it for me out of 25, and I actually like the way he's pictured there. And it's a really nice example. This man was one of my favorite pitchers to watch back in the days, even though he did play for the hated Red Sox. It's like, I guess, Jordan with the Bulls. I had to respect greatness when I saw it. This man had a 23-4 record with a 2.07 ERA with 313 strikeouts that year. What I found amazing was two things. One, he led the league in FIP, which stands for Fielding Independent Pitching. And this basically proves, it measures a pitcher's effectiveness to limit walks, homers, and hits, along with strikeouts. And it measures what that pitcher by himself is in control of when he pitches. So that sets him apart. It doesn't add in errors or squibbers that just barely went in, and basically you have a weak second baseman that any other second baseman might have snagged that and it should have been an out, or maybe your first baseman is weak defensively. It just measures basically your stuff, your control, and how you induce weak hits or grounders or strikeouts. So his FIP was 1.39 that year, which was the third lowest in the history of baseball. And just to put that into perspective, the next closest FIP to him that year was Randy Johnson with 2.76, which is almost double his FIP. And then the next closest to him in the AL was 3.25. So just to compare him to Christy Mathewson and Walter Johnson, which are the three lowest in the history of baseball. Christy in 1908 had a FIP of 1.29, only 10 points lower. And then Walter Johnson in 1910 had 1 point lower than him, 1.38, which is pretty amazing when you could compare yourself to the likes of Christy Mathewson and Walter Johnson as one of the top three pitchers ever to play the sport of baseball. And then the second thing I found amazing about him was that he finished second to the MVP to Ivan Rodriguez that year. And he actually had more first place votes than Ivan Rodriguez. He finished with 8 out of 28 votes, which was the most first place votes from anyone to garner. And then he was left off of 2 ballots. Had he been included in 2 of the ballots, whether he would have got second place votes or whatever, he would have ended up with the MVP that year. So now on to the entree. And this is the one that Rick wanted to see. And that is none other than Mr. Ty Cobb here, my latest pickup. I did a huge trade for this card, and I am so excited that I get to say I own this card. To be quite honest, I never thought I'd own this card because you never see this card come up, and if you do, people want a ton of money. Now, if you're confused between the Red Swamp, the Black Swamp Find, and this one, the Black Swamp Find, which has a red back, is the E98. This one is the E93, which has 2 variations of background colors. This one is the blood orange or red orange hue, and then there's an orange hue. Those 2 are the variations for the E93. And I tried to look into which one is scarcer, and I couldn't find anything. I dug for pretty much a day looking up different websites, and I couldn't find which was the scarce one. But when it comes to this set, it's very scarce. Just to let you know, There's about 185 of these graded between PSA and SGC. And then with the E98, there's like 181 of them graded. But that one is just one, the red one. So I don't know how many of the blood oranges are graded, to be quite honest, between that breakdown of the 185. But when you think about, there's over 9,000 of the Ty Cobbs and the T206s between all four variations. 9,000 graded compared to less than 200 of these. That goes to show how lucky I feel like I came upon this find. And I did a trade with a gentleman who had a huge collection, and we whittled out a trade where once I saw he had this and he was willing to part with it, I was gonna do all I could to snag this card. So what I traded was an American Caramel for 1921 Ty Cobb. So we did a Ty Cobb for Ty Cobb, but I if you notice, 2 years ago in the National, I picked that up there. And then I had to sweeten the pot because that's a later year Ty Cobb. So I had to throw in a T205 Hugh Duffy, which I've shown in a few videos. That was actually one of my favorite cards because he has like the highest batting average in the 1900s. And I had to sweeten the pot with 2 extra cards. The Hugh Duffy he really wanted because he was 2 cards short of the T205 set. And he needed that one, and he liked my example. So he really wanted that. There was no deal if I didn't include the Hugh Duffy. So I was like, all right, the Hugh Duffy's yours. And there were 2 other cards, which I showed him like 12 cards, which I had in the range of $300 to $500 valuation. And I said, you could get 2 more of these. And he just swiped like 2 of them like a cat. And I said, wait, which one did you pick up? And they was like, no, you told me I could get 3 altogether with the Hugh Duffy, so I'm fine. These 3 are good. And I don't even know what he has. I have to do an account to see what it is that I traded with him, but it was 4 cards for this one, and I am so ecstatic to have found this one. And he's happy with the trade. I'm happy with the trade. And I guess to go a little bit into Ty Cobb's Triple Crown year, which was in 1909, he led all of the Triple Crown that year, and he ended up leading the whole league in not only home runs, average, and RBIs, but he also ended up with 76 steals that year, which is quite amazing because when you think of thumpers that lead the league in homers and RBIs, to think they also could lead the league in steals, that's basically as 5-tool as you can get. And then with this card in particular, they have him fielding a ball. Usually his cards, you see him swinging, holding a bat, because that's what he was synonymous for. So that's another thing that makes this card pretty unique. So this was one of 11 batting titles he won that year, while being the only year he led the league in homers, and he led the majors that year in RBIs. In 3 other years, he led the league in RBIs. That was the only year he led in homers. So he never came close to another Triple Crown because he wasn't like a big bopper. So the E93 set does have 30 players in that set. It's a condition sensitive set due to the fact that it's included with caramels. Usually when you look at cards from the set, you might have like staining here from the caramel, or you may have some of it that just stayed in the package too long and it rips off the card, the print on the card. So it's a very condition sensitive set, and I just love it. Ty Cobb headlines all the Hall of Famers in this set, but there are a bunch of other Hall of Famers in the set, including Hal Chase, who's not a Hall of Famer, but was one of the top pitchers of the time. But he went down with the Black Sox scandal, so he got blackballed from the Hall of Fame. But it's one of the more, I guess, coolest sets to put together, but at the same time, it's very scarce and very expensive if you attempt to put together that 30 card set. But it's a very impressive set, to say the least. As one of my favorite cards, that Christy Mathewson also is in there. A lot of cool cards. Eddie Plank, Cy Young is in there. Just Lajoie. It has so many names. You should look into that set. But it's just a beautiful set, to say the least. So with that being said, it's time to check off some names here. I do have a lot of checks here, but it's time to check off Pedro Martinez and Ty Cobb. So there you have it. I have almost all the hitters checked off now. I only have Paul Hines, Lou Gehrig, and Jimmy Fox to showcase. And then for pitching, Clayton Kershaw, Sandy Koufax, Chrissy Mathewson, Cy Young, and some of the older names like Amos Russi, John Clarkson, Tim Keefe, Guy Hecka, Old Hoss Radbourn. I put Ross, but it's Old Hoss, and Tommy Bond. So I don't know if I'll ever find those cards because they're super expensive and they rarely come up. I'm almost giving up on getting those cards, but yeah. With that being said, I am going to put an end to this video, and I'm going to wish everyone happy hunting when it comes to cards. I want everyone to stay safe, be blessed, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.